Hello, everyone. My name is GAWLIKOWSKA, and I have a great pleasure to deliver a short talk about leading in times of uncertainty to you as a part of Sphere IT conference. So let's start with a short exercise. Listen to my voice. VUCA, VUCA, VUCA. It was a bit disturbing, wasn't it? Maybe also a bit exciting. VUCA is an acronym coming from American military, and it describes a more and more complex reality, especially geopolitical reality, that is surrounding us after 9/11 terrorist attacks. And with time, VUCA has also become a framework in risk management. The acronym stands for 4 words: volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. The VUCA world is unpredictable. Cause and effect relationships are unclear. We are surrounded by mixed messages and way too much information. The VUCA world is the world we live in. It's a world full of constant changing change. But you know what? Our brains have not been wired for the reality that surrounds us. Contemporary research in cognitive studies and neuroscience, as well as psychology, proves a few things. The first one, the information overload is gigantic. During our free time, not counting work, each of us processes up to 34 gigabytes of information, which can be counted as 100,000 words every day. Second, decision fatigue is real. Leaders and people in general have so many small and big decisions to take daily that we face neural fatigue. And at some point, we're no longer able to differentiate between simple decisions, such as, sure, should I use a pen or pencil to write this down, and major decisions, like, should we change the strategy for a company? American Medical Association estimates that by the time the average person goes to bed, they've made over 35,000 decisions. Thirdly, switching attention, the so-called multitasking, comes at a big cost and is often impossible. In 2011, there was this interesting and well-known experiment conducted called the Invisible Gorilla Experiment. And if you haven't seen it, just check it out. It shows that when given a simple task of counting how many times a group of people pass a basketball between each other, more than 50% of us watching the video, the experiment, will not notice a person wearing a gorilla costume and walking across the room of players. Information overload creates what is called inattentional blindness in our brains. And this means, folks, that we perceive a great deal of the world and our reality on autopilot. What does it mean for leaders and managers? It is our job to pay extra attention to details and information coming from numerous stakeholders. We make hundreds of decisions daily. We switch between tasks and we do our best to multitask. We work for people in various cultures and from various cultural backgrounds and languages. We often work in our non-native language, and we are constantly navigating through a change of goals and strategies and tasks. And it's way too much. It's something that we cannot. It is actually impossible for us to do it all well and deliver good results on our own. So how we as leaders, how can we deal with change effectively in VUCA times? How can we save our projects? How can we save our companies and tasks from failing, from losing money? How can we save our teams from disintegrating? To me, there is only one way. We need to lead our teams effectively. We need to lead winning teams. In a model of leaders' competences we created in Leaders Island, basing on the results of psychological research and thousands of hours of leadership trainings, there are three terms, three plethora dimensions that define an effective leader. The first term is leading. Effective leading others to their goals requires a leader aware of their potential, their beliefs, sources of influence, preferred leading style, and the context in which we operate. The second term is team, surprisingly, because it is us, leaders, who face the greatest challenge in companies. We need to understand and organize and motivate people to work together and to work effectively. Because well-led teams are more creative, more cooperative, and more focused. The third theme would come in a sec, but first a phrase attributed to Aristotle. Supposedly, he said that the whole is greater than some of its parts. And business, guys, business is a team sport. So last but least, we're talking about winning, generating revenue, engaging employees in strategy implementation. It all is expressed primarily through well-functioning teamwork. And teams, they function well around something, a goal. According to the training industry report, organizations in which managers skillfully develop the potential of their colleagues show 21% higher revenues than competitors. That's a lot. That's a lot to fight for. So, as a leader in times when the change is the only constant, you need to build a team of people that would be your power and in which you would be their power. How to do it? Because each of the three areas I described, the self-awareness, building a team, and effectiveness, they are subjects for separate talks. And I would focus only on one today, the team ingredient. And I want to share with you 3 tips and tools that are coming from my more than 10 years of experience in building agile development teams. They're quite simple, but yeah. The first one is you need to get to know your people and learn who they are. You need to help them grow, to become better than you are, actually. And you also need to identify and set goals to know where you are going. Getting to know your people. It requires being open and true about yourself and also being a listener. So that's a skill that is useful and you should practice it. You can practice it through devoting time, 5 minutes in the coffee corner or 30 minutes of a one-on-one catch-up meeting once a week. It can be a hello and how are you in the corridor, or it can be a feedback meeting. What is important is to do it and to do it regularly. Ask questions, listen attentively, listen to answers, and then you can also use simple or more complex psychometric tests and tools to understand both yourself and the people you work with, the whole team. And what I can recommend in this area is for you to, on your next meeting, offer your team a Bergman colors exercise, for instance. It's a short test in which you define what color represents your personality. It can be red, green, blue, or yellow. And if you have more time and resources, you can think about using Gallup's StrengthsFinder tests or Rees motivational profile. They show talents and needs and desires of your people. You can also use other tools that suit you. It can be Frisk, it can be DISC, and more. The point is to learn about them and about yourself. The second thing is to help your people grow, to become a better version of themselves and to become better than you. And in my opinion, it is the most important thing in your job as a leader or a manager. So schedule one-on-one meetings and ask what the areas of interest of your people are. Ask them about growth ideas and their goals. Mentor and share and give your knowledge. And create and implement development plans. You can use GROW, Start, Stop, Continue, or 70-20-10 models. What is crucial? Ask questions, support, and work together. And the third tip, but a short story first. When I was a child, my mom, she used to have all sorts of sayings, but she also used to say that both kids and dogs need a framework in everyday life. She meant regular hours of meals and sleep hygiene and what is allowed and what is not. But business teams also need a framework for their work, a North Star, a goal. So it is on your end to set goals and also remember to tweak them, to adapt. To set goals, you can use SMART or OKR or HARD methodologies. And the last one is not hard. It stands for heartfelt, animated, required, and difficult. What is important here for you as a leader in times of change is to remember that goals will alter. They will change. So get used to it. Get used to being flexible and teach your team the same. You can organize review meetings and just catch up and check what's going on and where you are in implementing the work and the goal you were meant to be. Be agile. So, yeah, to sum it up, getting to know your people and helping them grow and working towards a common goal. These three ingredients build trust. And trust is a cornerstone of working with people in change and transition. So let me tell you another story. Last year, when I still used to be a head of delivery in a 200 people big software house, I got a task of creating a new service line, a sort of business unit that would focus on selling support to our clients. What it means, it was supposed to provide developers to address all sorts of bugs and tickets that can appear on the client's end when we release software to production. So, an exciting task. I really liked it, but I actually was quite vague about SLA and support because most of my knowledge came from my own experience as a project manager in web and mobile applications development. And this task comprised of many subtasks, like creating strategy and market research and pricing and drawing organizational charts, marketing strategy, hiring people, and more. Was I capable of doing it alone? Maybe. I guess I was. But for me, it would take at least 6 months, taking into consideration all other things I had to do. With a lot of research, yeah, maybe. But what I had was only a quarter. But what I also had was a team member, and let's call him John. And I knew that John is an ambitious person, that he knows a lot about client contact, has experience in delivering projects and accounts, excuse me. And most of all, he wants to grow. He wants to learn and take ownership. And you know what? It was John actually who did the most of the work, understanding the needs of stakeholders and doing research and creating pricing and even preparing a presentation for our board. And I only guided him. I only supported him. I knew what he wants as a person and I knew his strengths. I also knew the gaps he had in knowledge. We identified and discussed goals and had catch-up meetings. And he actually did it all better and faster than I would. Unfortunately, finally, the company decided not to go live for the service line, but yeah, what a lesson it was. And I'm sure that you also have such talented people on board around you, in your team or outside of it. These are people who, when given a chance and trust in their actions, they would spread wings and help you. They would actually save you, save your endeavors. But yeah, we're coming back to the question of how to lead in change and transition. Even if you have a team of unicorns, it can be hard. So even if you don't know why your company changes vision from quarter to quarter, and even when you can't see sense, so as to say, or the point of changing processes and tools that work well, and even when you don't want to be or feel unprofessional, when you just come out to your team and you announce for the first time this quarter that, hey, there's another new and better strategy that we're going to follow. You need to be with your team. And what I can recommend is to go for what I call vulnerability leadership. It is an approach in what you need to focus on is being with your team. When you don't know, you should say that you don't know, right? But that you are there for them, you can discuss what change and transition means, what are the challenges, and how you all feel about it. It is showing vulnerability because supposedly you as a leader or a manager should know everything. You should be the North Star and you should be the captain. But hey, captain often doesn't know where the ship sails. So vulnerability, open communication, and building trust. And what also happens in change and transition is that it might not feel sensible, right? You might have this feeling inside that, okay, maybe we should stick to what is there already. But your team needs sense, and you need to create the sense for them. You need to answer questions and answer these questions with your team together. What is the point of our team in the change? How can we support new teams with our knowledge? What can we do to support the company in general? Maybe we should change responsibilities, or we should switch teams. Maybe we should learn new skills, or maybe we should train others. So be it. But create a sense and goal for your particular team. Create together something that would be for you, and at the same time, it would work for your company. And then the third, but not last, because of VUCA, we face changes that don't have clear end results. These are changes that change while happening. And actually, no one knows what ChatGPT or AI would mean for our work and IT in general, or for leadership. So we actually need to stop focusing on having a plan set in stone. What you can do is create continuous agile planning. And as Chris Lowney, American former Jesuit and a JP Morgan consultant, said, often the best way forward only becomes clear when we start moving forward. So to do that, you need to forget about waterfall plan. You need to plan more often and tweak plans. Try being agile. Agile is a state of mind. It's a state of mind that we all need to have nowadays. And this state of mind translates into numbers. A 2007 study at Stanford University found a 13% increase in productivity when bad managers were replaced with great ones. So it pays off to be a good leader, even a great leader. Be a great leader, lead a winning team. And like I said, a great leader knows their people, focuses on their growth, builds trust, helps set and understand goals and sense, and in change is agile in planning. One last story for today. Once upon a time, Michael Jordan, a basketball player, and his team were losing 10 points in a match. In the final minutes, Michael scored 25 points and the team won. Everyone was super excited. But walking off the floor, Michael had a quick interaction with his assistant coach called Tex Winter. And then Tex said to Michael, Michael, there is no I in team. And Michael responded, no, there's not, but there is I in win. What he meant was that he will do whatever it takes to win, whether that is to play as a team or play as an individual. And each of us will have our I moments. But my own, actually, have mostly been I moments because of the people I have worked with. So create yours and your team's I moments and do it by leading a winning team. Thank you.